Welcome back. Now, the crisis within the People's Democratic Party appears to be far from over as fresh disagreements over the party's zoning formula for the 2027 general elections continues to widen, or divisions now among southern leaders. Already stakeholders of the PDP from the south have rejected as illegal now a purported meeting on the zoning arrangement in Lagos State. The stakeholders, comprising state chairmen, former governors, National Assembly members, serving and former National Working Committee members and other prominent party figures, have dismissed any resolutions, communiques or outcomes from the Lagos meeting as neither binding nor representative of the collective will of the PDP family in southern Nigeria. In a strongly worded statement now, they argued that decisions taken in secrecy and exclusion cannot be regarded as a consensus. They also urged the National Working Committee, the National Executive Committee, and other party stakeholders to disregard any outcome of the Lagos meeting, describing it as illegal and divisive. However, some PDP leaders have endorsed the Lagos meeting, insisting it is part of ongoing consultations ahead of the 2027 general elections. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State confirmed that the party's National Executive Committee would take a final decision on zoning on the 25th of August, adding that the PDP was taking measures to ensure its survival. Well, Dabu Kiabo Wamit, who is a PDP chieftain from Abuja, now joins us to shed more light or to discuss this, seeming crisis, if you like. And also joining us from Ibadan is Mr. Diron Odemi, who is also a PDP chieftain. He joins us, of course, from the Oyo State capital. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program. Let me start with you, Ms. Odemi. What do you make of this fresh disagreement now over the issue of zoning within the party?
Thank you very much. It is not unexpected where you have people jostling for one position or the other, or having made up their mind that, to constitute the next National Executive Council, National Executive Working Committee, they will need their own representative, at that meeting. But what happened now is not something that should not be expected. It is normal. But that is not a crisis. It doesn't constitute a crisis the way you are perceiving it.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, it may not have reached crisis point, but it's surely a very serious disagreement. When you have Governor Makinde, the governor of Bayelsa State, and some other leaders, taking a position, and then you have members of the National Assembly, the PDP, quite a number of them now of the PDP caucus in the National Assembly, and of course, party chairmen in other states saying no. I mean, that's clearly, some serious disagreement.
What I'm trying to point out to you is that, if there is misunderstanding about the composition of the people who at that meeting, it doesn't mean that it cannot be corrected or we can still not hear ourselves, when we come together. So what I'm saying in essence is, yes, it is normal. There is nothing so special about it. It's not a crisis as far as I'm concerned, and I don't want you to see it as a crisis. It's normal for politicians to exchange banters, but it's not a crisis, like the one we were before now. It's normal. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing in any political party. Yes, everybody will want their representative at the National Convention and, as a member of the National Executive Committee. So it's a crisis.
Okay.
Don't tag it as a crisis, please.
So Mr. Odemi has said, look, what is happening? I mean, the disagreement over the issue of zoning now in the party is actually not a crisis. But then you look at it, it has the potential to snowball into a major crisis, as we saw it in the build-up to the 2023 elections. So what's your own take on this?
Well, thank you once again for having me, Deji. I want to say that it is quite unfortunate that having gone through, a very turbulent time, and in the, leadership of Ambassador Damagu trying to make sure that we have a wonderful and peaceful party before the 2027 general election. This issue coming up about zoning is quite unfortunate because why will you want to make a mistake with the intention of correcting it later? Why not avoid the mistake? The thing is very clear and simple. The zoning committee are not micro-zoning. What they are supposed to do is to zone between the north and the south. And if at all they want to organize a sub or a micro-zoning summit, they should have invited everyone. This is a clear disregard for leaders of the party. Now, let me give you an example. If you are following the national protocol, after the president is the vice president, is the Senate president, is the national, the Speaker of the House of Reps. If you are following that national protocol, the highest ranking member of PDP in public service is the minority leader, the person of Honorable Kingsley, Right Honorable Kingsley Ogundu Chinda. How will you be holding such a meeting without inviting such a person? And without inviting the national secretary of the party from the south, you did not invite him. And you invited somebody that has been expelled from the party in the person of Chief Ali Odefa to be in that meeting. Who are they deceiving? It is wrong. Our leaders should stop creating crisis for the party. Ambassador Damagu is doing all his best to make sure we have a strong PDP. He has sacrificed everything in his life to make sure we have a peaceful, united PDP. But some leaders, who, because of their ambition, want to destroy the party. What is the use of the summit? When we have a next meeting by Monday, after which, when the committee submit their report, every zone will now go to the region, will go to their region and talk about microzoning. It is not yet time for microzoning. What is the rush? And that is why the other group, led by the number one, the president of PDP from the south, so to speak, that is the person of Honorable Chinda, had to address the press. Will Seyi Makinde or any of the governors accept such a thing in their home state, that they are not invited for a meeting of such magnitude? So it's, what is wrong is wrong. If that meeting is truly a southern meeting, then they should have invited people like the Honorable Chinda is the highest ranking. Because are you going to tell me if we have a president from the south, you will not invite the president to such a meeting? It's like the president of PDP from the south, because the highest ranking person, office holder, public office holder. So that is wrong, and they should stop fermenting or creating room for tension and crisis in the party. What people have made sacrifice. The national chairman has made a lot of sacrifice to ensure that we got to this level that we are today. What is the use of that meeting? The next is Monday. Why not wait after the zoning committee submits their report? Because the zoning committee cannot micro-zone, for crying out loud. And it's why people like us are angry, is because the zoning committee chairman ought to know this and ought not to convey a meeting where, knowing fully well there is tension and there are two major interest groups, only one interest group is there. It is unfair. It is a recipe for tension and crisis in the party, and that should stop.
All right, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back.
Would just.
I'm going to come back to you, but let me go to you. Let me come to you, Mr. Odeyemi. Do you think this was? Don't you think this was a deliberate oversight, so to speak? I mean, for the Seyi Makinde group now to have held that meeting without involving the minority leader of the House and without involving, even the national secretary of the party, who are, of course, from the south of the country.
I agree in total with what my brother said. I align myself with him. Based on the question you asked me, if this is a crisis, I want to mellow it down and let you see that it can be a mistake that can still be resolved among ourselves. So I don't want the media
do you think this was a mistake?
So long and say, it's a crisis. That is why I answered that. But I align myself with what my brother said in total, because a meeting of the South, I know and I agree that there are too many stakeholders and personnel in the South that were not invited to the meeting. This could be let us take it as an omission, so that we don't, escalate issues. Let us take it as an omission. Let us take it as a mistake that, a lot of people have condemned. the mistake will be corrected. We don't want it to snowball into another round of crisis that will now put the party on, in the media as having not resolved their crisis. We are resolving it gradually. It has a layer. We have finished one layer. Now another one wants to brew its head. We know the sovereign we went through when that one was going. So we won't allow another one, to erupt. I agree. It could be a mistake on the part of Seyi Makinde to have called that meeting. Because under normal circumstances, you cannot speak about the South without involving credible leaders, stakeholders from the Southeast and from the South-South, who, of course, have signified their intention for peace in the party. So I agree. So the next thing now will be for Seyi Makinde to ensure that a correction is made. You shouldn't start, throwing banters. This is not the time for it. And there is this insinuation that perhaps Seyi Makinde is playing the front because of his presidential ambition. He shouldn't place this above, the peace in the party. There should be a way of going through issues that will not cause further crisis. Because the way we are going now, I agree with your language that it may snowball into bigger crisis. It's not a crisis now. I agree, and I want to say it's a mistake. So it can be corrected, and I know it will be corrected because since yesterday that the meeting was held, people have said a lot of people have condemned it. We know that.
But you see, part of the problem is just as Mr. Womit said, the chairman of the zoning committee was at that meeting, and that's the governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri.
It's
and
very
we know,
wrong.
of course, that the governor of Bayelsa State is not in good terms with the minister of the Federal Capital Territory and, of course, the camp loyal to him. And I'm just wondering, why would, for instance, someone who is the chairman of the zoning committee of the party, why would he choose to hold a meeting with one side and not involve all sides?
And that is why I want to tag the whole thing as a mistake. That we should not allow to snowball into major crisis. I agree it's a mistake. I align myself with what my brother said. Because if you want to hold such a meeting, you can only microzone after the party or the committee report to the larger house about the zoning. Because right now, we don't even know what is in the zoning arrangement. It has not been disclosed. It is only after it has been disclosed and proclaimed that the South will now come back and say, yes, now that these positions have been given to us, let us now microzone it based on states and personalities that we want to constitute the next National Executive Council. So we have not gotten to that stage. It's like jumping the ship. It's like jumping the gun, which is not good, which may snowball into crisis.
Yeah, because, you look at the number of chairmen who were not invited at that meeting. You have, and they signed a statement, of course, condemning it, the chairman of the party in Abia, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and River State. But Mr. Wome, do you think this was like an innocent oversight now on the part of the committee, not to have involved all sides in this meeting?
Thank you, my brother. I don't think, in my opinion, that it's an innocent oversight. I think it's a calculated political strategy and to undermine an interest group. And I felt very bad because they are undermining the office, the number one office holder, public office holder from the PDP extraction from the South. That is number one. Now, let me tell you the danger of this. If you remember, Ikweremadu Committee after the 2015 election was set up to review our performance and give it to Senator Ikweremadu. He came up with a wonderful report and made it clear, unambiguous, that following the Constitution Section 730 of PDP, that the presidency should be zoned to the north in 2019. And also, in addition to that, following the pulse of the nation. And that was how the party made its position zoning the presidency to the north in 2019 and led to the emergence of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. After the 2019 election, another committee again to review our performance in 2019. It was led by His Excellency Bala Mohammed. Unfortunately, and Bala Mohammed, committee recommended for an open ticket, having acknowledged the fact that it is only the the southeast and the north east that has taken a very short time at the presidency of this nation from 1960 to date. But if you know that, why not look at that and say, okay, let's zone it to the south and urge the south to zone it to the southeast. But he threw it open. Now, after that report, they set up a zoning committee for the 2023 election. What happened? The zoning committee drew their strength from the Bala Mohammed committee, the zoning committee led by His Excellency Senator His Excellency Samuel Otom, former Benue State Governor, drew his strength from that Bala Mohammed committee and threw the ticket open. That was what led to the crisis we saw and recently were able to resolve. So why would they make this kind of mistake? It's a very costly one. It's a very costly one because zoning committee is very important, and that's why we normally have it before a convention. What we should be looking at, and I expect all stakeholders to be looking at, is to support Ambassador Umaile Damagu, the national chairman, to ensure that we have a peaceful and smooth national convention to elect new managers of the party that will ensure that PDP becomes the ruling party to wipe away the tears of Nigerians come 2027. And not all this hide and seek game they are playing. Frustrating and dragging back the party. Ambassador Damago has done a lot to sacrifice for PDP to survive till today. And nobody should, thwart his effort. People like us will not accept that from any divide at all. But in this case, it is very wrong to undermine the number one citizen of PDP from the south in the person of Honorable Kingsley Chinda, to undermine the national secretary of our great party, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, not to be in that meeting. So how southern is the meeting? In fact, I like how Punch put it. Punch said it's a southwest zoning committee meeting. It is not the south. It's not southern meeting. So that should be made. And I want to urge, in as much as I appeal to the Kingsley Chinda-led group to please be patient. We don't want this to lead to any crisis. I want to also urge those that made the mistake, deliberately I would say, to quickly reach out to him and resolve this matter and sit down and discuss before our next meeting coming on Monday. Because that will be one of the burning issues on Monday by the time we meet during our next meeting. It's premature. It's premature to call for such meeting when we have not discussed. If the offices occupied from by the north, normally what we do, all the offices from the north will be swapped to the south, and all the offices from the south will be moved to the north. We've not known if that will be done, or the status quo will remain that all the offices occupied in the north will remain in the north, all the offices occupied in the south will remain in the south. Before we now talk about microzoning, they just jumped the gun. It's wrong. At this point, we want a party, because without a party, they cannot have a platform to contest. And the most painful thing, Nigerians are depending on us and waiting for us. And nobody should thwart that opportunity that Nigerians want to give us in 2027.
Let me come to you, Mr. Odemi. Do you get the impression that, that there are a group of people who probably don't want peace in the PDP? Because why is it that as you're trying to solve one problem, another one emerges? As you try to solve it, you still have another one. I mean, this, for instance, is a needless crisis. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I agree with you, because the way we understand political party and how to operate it is quite different from each other. There are some that strategically we want to put the cart before the horse, maybe because of their personal interests and selfish ambition. I agree. But at the same time, there are some that will be genuine in their operation of ensuring that we have peace in the party. So just like my brother said, well, he is not seeing it as an oversight or as a mistake. But I want you, and I want to appeal to Nigerians, that they should see this to our crisis. They should see it as, a genuine mistake from certain section of the PDP, and that mistake will be corrected, because even internally, I know since yesterday, a lot of calls have been made, and the modalities of choosing representatives to that meeting was very wrong. People have condemned it. In times of crisis, you should embrace everybody. You should call all the stakeholders. You should call all the leaders together before a decision can be taken. But in this case, I want to believe it's sectional. It doesn't involve all the stakeholders that should be involved. But rather than escalate it and make it a big crisis for the party, let us tag it as a genuine mistake for now that will be corrected, because we don't want another round of crisis in PDP.
And Mr. Wome described it as, like a Southwest meeting, so to speak, and not a South. But truth is that some very powerful leaders in the Southwest were also not at that meeting, and I suppose they were not invited. But let me ask you this, Mr. Adeyemi, again. Do you think the presidential ticket of the PDP in 2027, even if it was zoned to the South, could become a huge challenge like we saw in 2023 as to who should get it?
Even if it is a position of a councillor or a local government chairman, it will be challenged. That is the nature of politicians. Even if you know within yourself that you don't have that capacity, even within yourself, you weigh yourself and you know you don't have that weight, you will still want to use that ticket, maybe for the future or for Nigerians to know you. So everybody will still come into it. They still want to aspire. They still want to contest for it. So the issue of whether if it is thrown to the South, there will not be any contest, you should just forget about it. This is human nature. Throw anything open. Let people contest for it. The people you are not even expecting or anticipating will show interest. We all come out. What will matter at that stage is to manage whatever is going to be an issue that we arise from it. Because zoning it to the South does not mean that it is the Southwest, South-South, or the Southeast. Once it is the South, you can be rest assured that virtually everybody will come from the zone to say yes, they want to contest it. Just like I said, people who know within themselves that they cannot win any election, even in their own state or in their own zone, we still aspire. That's the nature of politicians. We know how to deceive ourselves a lot. So the issue of whether anybody will come out or nobody will come out, just forget about it. A lot of people will come out.
Mr. Wome, you think this whole problem, let me not call it a crisis now, that this whole thing is just about who gets probably the presidential ticket of the party in 2027, especially in the light of the fact that, I don't know, even though it's not being, he's actually, I'm talking about the Oyo State governor now, has actually not come out to confirm it. But, word is out there that he's going to run in 2027.
Let me appreciate you for helping us to also de-escalate it by saying you will not call it a crisis. I want to really appreciate you for that. And let me say that because what we want is a united PDP. And if we don't have a united PDP, how will anybody that have interest to contest for presidency come 2027 be able to do that? So we are supporting the acting national chairman to ensure that we have a smooth convention that will bring in new managers. And I believe some interests or some persons interested in contesting as president are scrambling to make sure that they have one or two of their persons in the management team of the party come November. That is no issue. But follow the party protocol. Follow the constitution. I've always stood by the constitution. Let me give you, for example, when I saw it, one of the things that also angered me. The party leaders know the truth that conveyed that meeting, from Shey Makinde to His Excellency Shey Makinde to His Excellency Chief Bode George. All of them know that a court of competent jurisdiction in Abakaliki, a federal high court, has expelled Chief Ali Odefa. They allow him to, as a member of PDP, but they allow him to come into that meeting. What kind of a deceit is that? And saying it's representing the Southeast in the meeting when we have the national secretary there. If you look at it, that's why I call it, it's a deliberate mistake. But I also want to agree with my brother in Ibadan there that we shouldn't escalate it. We should escalate it and see it as an innocent mistake and urge the group that met in Ibadan to quickly reach out to the #1 citizen as far as PDP is concerned, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Kingsley Chinda, to see how they can resolve this issue. Because like it or not, he's the #1 as far as PDP is concerned from the south, and also the National Secretary. What we want is peace, to be able to have a peaceful convention, so Nigerians will have confidence in us that we will be able to deliver them from all the sufferings they are going through as we speak today. They are weeping, they are suffering. Look at the insecurity, look at the hunger in the land.
All right.
So that is what we want. And we want to urge everyone with intention to contest for presidency. Please, let's have a party first. Let's have a peaceful convention. Let's have a new leadership. Then after that, we can talk about who will be the next presidential candidate of our party and so on. Anybody can be. Nobody will be stopped from contesting. But let us not truncate the effort being put to ensure that we have a smooth convention by the acting national chairman, Ambassador Maila Damagu, by anyone, which we will not accept.
All right.
We will not condole it. And right from the onset, I've always stood by the Constitution, and I'll never stop my position, always standing by the Constitution. That is it.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program. I appreciate your time. Dabo Kiabo Wamid, PDP chieftain, who joined us from Abuja. Thanks a lot, sir. And General Adeyemi, PDP chieftain, joined us, of course, from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Don't go away.
Opinions are free. Facts are sacred. But truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.